Hi, I'm Lars. Welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to use Fusion 360 to create a lantern face. This one here specifically. This is the same one that I did the carve code video with, so you guys can compare and contrast if you want. They both operate differently. All right, let's just put it that way. So without further ado, let's get into some Fusion 360. All right, so this is Fusion 360. This is not a beginner's course in Fusion 360, but I'll give you guys a quick overview if you want to follow along. First thing I'm going to do is save the project. Now the project will get saved out on the cloud, out on the internet. Basically means somebody else's server, if you know what I mean. So we hit new folder, and here this is going to be a Christmas lantern. So I keep my designs, my lanterns, under what they need to be. And I've already got a few of them in here. That's for Valentine's, Christmas. And this one here is going to be called Snowman Head. Real original. So then you'll get the name up here, Snowman Head version 0. Every time you save it, it will ask you for, a milestone or something to that effect. So this area here is the browser. It's the very most important part of what we're doing. And anytime you see this create a sketch or anything up here with solid surface mesh, sheet metal, plastic, or utilities, these areas here are for dealing with things that you have created in a sketch. All right. You have design, generative design, render, animation, simulation, manufacturing, drawing. I have dealt with design, manufacture, and drawing. And yeah, you can do simulations inside of manufacture. Simulation here is more like an entire machine that's being moved. Not what I'm using Fusion 360 for. You can create a drawing from the design and it will put it on design. It's kind of a little kludgy for me, but you can do it. First thing we need to do is you need to create a sketch. So you're going to create a sketch, and there is an X-plane, a Y-plane, and a Z-plane. So this is the Z, the X, and the Y. I like to set this on top, and then I'll get the X-plane just because it's like I'm looking over the CNC machine. I'm going to insert a DXF file, and this is connected to my plane. I'm going to open up the file locally from my computer, and here's my DXF. Now, when this came in, this came in extremely large, all right? And I mean really big. So this is like 275 inches. More than likely when the people created the DXF file or created this, they were doing it in millimeters. So we're going to switch this over to millimeter for the import. It just defaults to what I'm using, which I'm using inches. And then at this point in time, we're just going to hit OK. And then we're going to zoom in. Now, what you can see here, this is about 10, 11 inches up this way, 11 and a half, and there's another ½ inch here. So we need to now reduce the size of this, scale it down. So let's go to Scale, Modify, Sketch Scale, and that'll bring this up. I'm going to click on Entities, and we're going to select everything. And we're going to grab a point in the center. Now, in order to get the size that we're looking for, we're probably looking for around 6 inches. So I've already done the calculation. 6 divided by 11 is 0.545. So you just put that in for your scale, 0.545. You can keep on going if you want, and then hit OK. Now you need to select everything again and hit the letter M for move. And this is called free move. You could also translate, you could rotate, you could do a bunch of other stuff. But we're just going to free move it. We're going to bring it down, and then we're going to scooch it over. About like that. Maybe negative 1.5. Not negative 15. 5. There we go. This would be 7 inches, so maybe we'll bring it down a little more. Yeah, that might be good. So let's just hit OK. So we need to put now a rectangle on here. And we're going to make that rectangle 5.5 inches wide and 7 inches tall. All right, so we need to keep this over to the left a little more. And hit the little M key again. Let's just move it over a little more, about like that. That looks pretty good to me. It's about an inch off of this side. It's about an inch off of that side. It's visually appealing. So I think we're good to go. Now, the next thing, we need to extrude this. And the distance that we're going to extrude it is 0.6 inches because that's what a picket is in thickness. I'm going to hit OK. Now, you hit your little shift key and your middle mouse wheel and start rolling in a little bit slowly. You can see that it actually created something. All right. Now, is this done? Probably not. I'm looking at this hole here and this hole and these holes, and we may need to pull these holes out of here and change them because the bit might not fit in them. I know they look like they're really big, but 9 times out of 10, they need to be fixed. All right, so off to manufacture. Manufacture has everything, has your model, it has your file and everything else. So I notice this says unsaved, okay? So let's go back to design and actually save this. So design Lanterns Christmas, you can put it wherever you guys want. I just have a file system, and my system is going to say this is Snowman Head. Now when I save it, this becomes Snowman Head version 0. Go over to manufacture, and now it says Snowman Head version 1. Okay, kind of odd there, but it's okay. This has my body. If I don't want to see the body, I can turn it off. This has my sketches. If I want to see the sketch, I can turn it on, turn the body off. So you still have all the functions that you had in design. So let's go to setups. Doesn't matter where you're at. We're going to add a setup. Click on this. Setup is something that you define your machine, your operation, your work coordinates, and the model. Model's already a touching body. Now, you might have multiple bodies. You might have a few bodies that you're working over in design. You may need to change this. It will pick up more than one. So if you want to change it, you need to X out, click on select, and then click that body again. All right. So let's get machining. We go to select, Kirby Enterprises, that's the Onefinity. Hit select, tells you what it is. Secondly, if you notice this, there's a bit of like extra something around the material. Okay, it's kind of odd looking. I don't know if you can see it. It's this yellow. That's on the stock panel. So this says relative size box. You can make this a fixed size box. Not a big deal, right? I like to keep it relative. And then instead of doing add stock, we're going to add no stock. If you notice down here, it says 5.58, 7.08, 6.4, or 0.64. When I say no stock, this will change to 5.57 and 6.6. All right. So you could add stock if you needed to, and that does come in handy sometimes. But for this video, we're not going to do it. The next thing is fixture point, part attached. Honestly, I haven't seen this do anything for me. I think the only thing this does is helps somebody with data if they're actually setting it up on a machine. So we're just going to hit OK. Now, something that I don't do, I don't leave this in the center. All right, so let's go back into setup. And down here, the work coordinate system, the WCS, orientation, there's a bunch of things here. You could set Z, Z, X, ZX, ZY, XY, or select the coordinate system. I just use my model's coordinate system. Whatever I did in my model, and I'm going to use a stock box point. Those are the two defaults. Click on select, and I usually click this top left corner. If you're somebody that likes to come off the spoil board, put this on the bottom here. All right, then you'd be coming off the spoil board. I just don't do it. Then we hit OK. Now, this is looking pretty good so far. Now we need to add operations. So the operation that I'm going to do is it's going to be an adaptive. Okay, it's going to be a 2D adaptive clearing. So that's the first thing I'm going to get into. And the tool is going to be a 1/8 inch. and it has all your data about these tools, like what you're supposed to be running it on. So we're going to select, and then all that information comes in here. You can edit all of it. Okay, so the next part is to select what do you want to cut. So if you mouse over, I'm going to pull this over to the side a little bit. If you mouse over things like this area here, you'll see the blue will pop up. You can click on that, click on this, and it starts putting these closed chains in. That just means whatever you're clicking on is closed and you don't have to select more. So we're going to grab all these guys. Now, if this is hard to do, just turn the body off, and then you can just go through and click the rest of them. Now, when you click the body off, you'll see these arrows. Don't flip these around. If for some reason they went the other way, then click on the red arrow and put it back inside. Now, the next one is the heights. So this is telling you your top height is offset 0 from the stock top. The retract height is 0.2 inches over the stock top, and your clearance height is 0.4 over the retracted height. Okay? So if you want to change them, you can. If you want to add leave stock, we do not. I do not, so I'm just going to get rid of that. You can do multiple depths. I usually do. So this is 0.6, so this will take 2 routes around. Then you can hit OK. Upon hitting OK, it's going to automatically do your toolpath. Now I'll kick this up to top so you can see what actually happened. And like I said, these guys here, they probably needed to be made a little bigger. So we don't even need to save, but I'm just going to do a quick save and put machine manufacture 1. And then we're going to go back to design. So what I'm going to do is zoom in here, and I'm literally just going to delete this. Delete that, delete that, delete that. Let's just highlight them and delete them. I'm going to highlight all these. Let's delete these, and delete that. And I'm going to put circles in. All right, so now since we've replaced these, this body is no longer valid. All right, as you can see when I click on it, you don't have any holes here. So we need to get rid of that body, which is going to blow away the extrusion down here. And all we need to do is just right click on this, say extrude, and put in the 0.6 again, and hit OK. And everybody's back in business. Got our little holes here and everything. We go back to design, we go to manufacturer, and we look at the setup. It says, there's operation, do you want to clear those? Yep. So our model has changed, so now we click on this, and it's body 2. Remember, we deleted the other one. Everything else is going to pick up. And then this operation has changed because we lost some of these. So here's these guys. Get rid of that one. And then we're just going to select these guys at the bottom. That, hit OK. Hopefully these will be the right size. Yep. All good. So there is our snowman face. Now, if you want to see it simulated, you can hit this button at the top, and we'll go over to the simulation. Just drag this over this way, and we'll tilt it a little bit, and hit run. You can see it's doing 2 layers. Now, something is a little unique with this. If you're new to Fusion 360, this guy does a circle, does a spiral, and does always this climb cutting. So you're not having this thing run back and forth like this, bang, 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 bang. Your machine won't bang around anymore. These are really smooth cuts. So now there are a couple things that we missed. Like we didn't get this here, we didn't get this here. The tip of the nose, this guy here. So there is something else that we can do. Now we can come in and we can say, give me a 2D contour. All right. So the 2D contour is like a profile in CarveCo, but it's the contour. It's going to go around the outside or around the inside. The nice thing about this is it's going to pick up the bit that we already had. The geometry is not going to get picked up, but all of the stock tops, heights, and everything are going to get picked up. Multiple depths will not get picked up. So for the most part, you're just clicking and going now. So here's the next thing. So now we're going to click on that, and this line's on the inside, which is good. There. Pull this up a little bit. There. And now let's hit OK. So after you do your adaptive, we're going to run a simulation here again. Now, this last simulation we ran, it still has this cut out. So we can run this one here and see how this is going to go. So we didn't get very much deeper in any of these, so the contour is not really going to help. Okay? So we didn't really cut anything new. I mean, we did a little bit. Everything in green is the new stuff being cut. But the contour will make this a smoother finish. So I'm going to leave the contour on here. So let's exit the simulation. And now I like to name these things so that I know what tools that I'm using. This is all here, by the way. Like, you can drop this down and you can see everything. But when I get this out the door, I always do this. So here's step 1. It's a 1/8 inch 2D adaptive. And then this is my step 2 dash 1/8 inch 2D contour. And then we're going to save these off. So here's the post process. So here was a simulate, here's the post process G1, G2. And I'm going to click on the first one here. I'm going to hit F2 and I'm going to hit copy. Copy that. So this is snowman face, and I can put this into the name number. All of this information will come out here. It'll say you're using this here, and all this can get put into a printout. It all gets downloaded. But when I'm out using my CNC machine, I might not have all that information. So I usually name things, what they need to be. So I hit post. Yep, going to override that. And then you're going to see the G code. One key thing to look for is this. Because if this says G0.2, I know I have my origin on the top of the material. And then you can look at this as it's coming down. Eventually, this is going to have to hit into the negatives. But this is a spiral coming down right here. This is how far down it's going to go before it starts cutting. 71 lines. There's a reason for that, all right? Because if you just ram into it and start taking off, it's the way bits get broke. So these guys really know what they're doing. All right, so let's take the next one. Forgot to copy this. Copy. Paste. Do another post. Same deal. And this here comes in. Now I've got an application that I'm not going to get into it here, but I can run and it will clean all this stuff up. It'll move my startup of my spindle. It'll move that down to this point here. It actually takes care of the way these things get created, and it does a little difference on the back. So it will come up to the 0.2, and then it will do an M5 and turn everything off, and it will do an M9, and it'll turn off the coolant, and then it will return to home, and then it will end the program. So I really need to do a thing on that application one day, do a video on it. So that's really it. We can take this out to you could take this out to the CNC machine now, and we could run this. and it would work. And so that's really all there is to this. That's it. I mean, you're manufacturing. We can save this off. What I do for my vector to version description is I will put in the date here of 0110, and then I put the time in. So it's 8:37. All right. So that's 2037. So I know, or 38 now. So I know that that is the I used 24-hour clock on this because I know it's not, I don't have to put AM or anything like that. I just know it's 2038. And then that works. And that's it. Alright, I'm going to try a little flashlight here because I usually get some shadowing on my, where my spindle's coming down. So instead of it looking like that, hopefully this here will brighten up some of the cutting. So I really want you to see what 360 does, Fusion 360, as this guy cuts. So we're going to kick this thing off, and I'm just going to let it cut, and then we'll end up the video. Because you'll see as it cuts, it does a spiral cut before it goes in, and it's not a lot of ramming and jamming, it's just smoothly cutting. This cut here will be the contour cut, which will just run the bit pretty much around, well, just around the outside of everything and clean it up. So this shouldn't take too long. And then this is what my application does, is it'll stop the bit, raise it, and then get it out of the way. So it clears all the clamps at the end. Alright, so there's a little snowman head. If you can see it, put it on my black shirt. There you go. These are pretty cool. I like the way that the Fusion 360 writes its G code to get stuff, you know, with the little spiral that goes in ahead of time. So you're always doing a climb bit with it. I know other applications can do it. I just like the way that Fusion 360 does it. So that's how you make a snowman head using Fusion 360. All right, including the cam cutout, which I know is beneficial to a lot of people that are just starting out in CNC. Hope you guys liked the video. Hope there's any questions you have, drop them in the comments. Hopefully this was enlightening and beneficial to everybody. If you liked the video, please click like. I'd like to thank all my subscribers out there and everyone that has subscribed, and hopefully more of you will subscribe. If you want to subscribe, click that subscribe button and do me a favor and have a nice day and come back to the shop and see me.